Hey guys, Tyler Head 18 here. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. We'll get into a new episode of Remember This Race in just a moment, but before we do that, I feel like I owe you guys a brief explanation as to why I haven't been uploading videos over the past couple months. I started the Remember This Race series on this channel right around the middle of March when COVID hit, and obviously everybody, including myself, had a lot more free time on our hands back then. And I was trying my best to upload a video at least every couple weeks, at least once a month, really. And I was doing a pretty good job of that, but in the middle of the summer, right around the beginning of July, I actually started working a full-time job, which has taken up a lot of my time and energy, quite frankly, over these past couple months. But things have started to slow down with that a little bit, as well as with the upcoming NASCAR off season. I do plan to be uploading a lot more videos, so I just wanted to make sure you guys didn't think I'd completely abandoned doing this. I haven't, I just haven't had the time to dedicate to it lately. I've gained a lot of new subscribers over the past couple months, got a lot of views on some of my videos, which is awesome. I want to give a shout out and a thanks to two of the bigger creators on this platform in the NASCAR YouTube community, in Jake Bassinger, as well as Slap Shoes, who have shared some of my links on Twitter, as well as shared some things here on YouTube as well to draw more attention to my videos. And that may not seem like a big deal to those guys, but for a small creator like myself to get any percentage of their audience coming over to watch my stuff and then subscribing too is really awesome. And it's grown this channel quite a bit over these past couple months, and hopefully we can continue to do that, and I can continue to provide you guys with content that you like and content that you'll keep coming back to watch. So I'll quit talking and we'll jump right into a new episode of Remember This Race. Thanks so much. Championships in motorsports are unlike any other form of sports. As opposed to two teams battling head-to-head for a title, racing allows for multiple competitors to go into the final event with a shot at winning it all. We now live in the playoff era of NASCAR, where every year 4 drivers in each of the top 3 series enter the finale with an equal shot at winning the title. But before that format existed, there were several times when a handful of drivers battled for the championship in the season finale, and these races created some of the most thrilling moments in NASCAR history. Races like the 2004 Ford 400, which saw Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Mark Martin enter with a chance to win it all. And who could forget what is considered by many as the greatest race in NASCAR history, the 1992 Hooters 500, which featured half a dozen contenders vying for the Winston Cup before underdog Alan Kulwicki claimed the championship. But there's one stock car championship battle that I feel is too often overlooked: the 2008 ARCA Remax Series. On October 12, 2008, ARCA rolled into the Toledo Speedway for the 21st and final event of their season. 4 drivers entered that event with a mathematical shot at the championship, and they couldn't have been any more diverse. Scott Speed was the points leader, driving the number 2 Red Bull Toyota for Eddie Sharp. Speed was a former Formula One driver that sought to be part of NASCAR's open-wheel invasion of the mid-2000s, and through the first 20 races of the season, he had found victory lane 4 times. 90 points behind him was a young Ricky Stenhouse Jr. The then 21-year-old was a Roush Fenway Racing development driver, and despite 2008 being his first season in a stock car, he'd already scored 2 victories at Kentucky and Pocono. Third in points 110 back was Justin Allgaier, a young Midwesterner competing for his family's team. 2008 was his second full-time season, and he'd already won 7 races, including 5 that year and 2 in a row coming into the finale. His success had earned him a development deal with Tim Penske, where he would move to the Nationwide Series in 2009, which meant this would be his final ARCA start. And in fourth, 150 points back, was the grizzled veteran Frank Kimmel. Kimmel's ARCA resume was already Hall of Fame worthy, as he had won 9 series championships, including the past 8 in a row. That's right, up to that point, he had won every series title since the turn of the century. He had a large deficit to overcome, but as the day would prove, nothing was out of the realm of possibility. 35 cars crammed into the half mile for the day's 200-lapper. Justin Lofton was on the pole alongside Dexter Bean. Stenhouse and Speed would start in row 2. Allgaier rolled off from the 9th spot, and Kimmel would start in 13th. Other notable entries included David Reagan in 10th and Ken Schrader starting in 18th. Both men had run in the Cup Series race the night before, finishing 10th and 38th respectively at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The green flag flew, and the 2008 ARCA Series finale was officially underway. Lofton had the advantage to the inside in turn 1, and he quickly cleared Bean as they went down the backstretch. Speed slotted into 3rd spot with Stenhouse right on his bumper. Toledo had extremely short straightaways, so setting up a pass could be incredibly difficult. This means that using the front bumper might end up being the only option, especially later in the race. Caution flew for the first time on lap 6 as 4 cars piled into turn number 4. Parker Kligerman was sitting around, creating a smokescreen for the competitors behind him. Donnie Kelly and Luke Hall piled into each other, and back behind the incident, Bean in second also went around. While there was no replay of it, Speed had damage to the nose of his Red Bull Toyota, indicating that he likely ran into the back of Bean as he was checking up. The damage seemed minimal, and Speed was now in second as the restart came on lap 11. A lap later, Stenhouse got a nose underneath Speed exiting 2, but before he could complete the pass, the caution came out once again. Bean's day went from bad to worse as he backed his car into the fence this time, and ending in any shot of the outside pole winner had to win. This would be his final ARCA race, as in 2009 he would attempt to start a Cup career, but he would only qualify for one of the 6 races that he attempted. Back green on lap 17, and Lofton rockets out to a nice lead as Speed tries holding off Stenhouse. Early on, it seemed like the 99 was good on corner entry and through the middle, but the two had a much better drive off, which prevented the 99 from getting to the inside of him on straightaways. It was only lap 21 when the third caution came out, this time for Allie Owens backing into the fence. Owens was just a rookie in 2008. She would make 20 more ARCA starts over the next 2 seasons and earn 3 top 10s. Green out again on lap 25, and this time the leaders had traffic to deal with as Hall's wounded number 38 lined up to Lofton's inside. The leaders had no issue clearing him, and it quickly was Lofton legging out a lead while Ricky and Scott raced nose to tail. Allgaier jumped up into the top 5 for the first time and was inching towards getting into their battle. It was only lap 27, but Ricky's patience had worn thin, and he absolutely nails the 2 exiting the corner and shoves him up the track in ring 3. Speed would smack the wall hard and cut his tire. The 2 was heavily damaged as the caution flew for the 4th time. Replay showed that Stenhouse got him loose, and in true Stenhouse fashion, he kept his foot in it all the way down the backstretch, ultimately sending Speed into the wall. While the body damage wasn't detrimental, the rear toe was completely knocked out of the 2 car. He only needed to finish 17th, but it looked like he would need to rely on attrition to help him achieve that goal. Definitely makes you wonder why Speed didn't just let Ricky by from the start to prevent this kind of thing from happening, but you can't rewrite the past, though you can always affect the future. ARCA issued a warning to Stenhouse for his rough driving, but he'd gotten exactly what he needed out of the situation, as he now sat atop the point standings with a 25-point advantage over Allgaier. Speed, running 32nd, was suddenly in a 55-point hole. The green was back out on lap 34, and as the old saying goes, what goes around comes around, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was about to learn that one the hard way. Speed wasted no time exacting his revenge, but he would end his own championship hopes in the process. Here's what he had to say about it.
He was on my bumper and he pushed me flat out until I hit the wall. And then the car was completely undrivable. It wasn't even close. It was so bad from hitting the wall. Couldn't do anything with it.
Talk about the retaliation here as we watch the replay.
Hey, he started it. I ain't going to win this championship with that attitude. I mean, that was ridiculous. That was the most blatant thing I ever saw in my life. And honestly, I mean, it's just ARCA.
He got Ricky so good the 99 was literally stuck in the outside wall. ARCA officially parked Speed for the rest of the race, but that didn't really matter as his car was toast anyway. The 99 still had a chance to get back out there, and his team feverishly went to work to send him back out. Amidst all the chaos, Justin Allgaier was now the points leader, and Speed was guaranteed to finish 34th. Frank Kimmel suddenly was within reach of yet another ARCA title. After a lengthy cleanup, the race got back underway on lap 52. Lofton was still out front, and Allgaier and Kimmel ran second and third. Caution would fly yet again soon after as veteran Bobby Gerhart spun off of turn number 2. Under yellow, Stenhouse gave his thoughts as his team continued to work on his car. He claimed to have lost his brakes when he hit Speed initially. Restart on lap 59 and almost immediately grained in finger blows his motor, but the race would stay green. Allgaier followed in Lofton's tire tracks, and Reagan and Schrader, despite starting in the back, had already climbed up to 5th and 6th, respectively. Lofton avoided near disaster as the lap car of Norm Benning ran him up the track in 3 and 4, but Benning blocked the way for Allgaier on the bottom, so Lofton kept his lead. Precaución numero 7 flew on lap 70 as Canadian Terry Jones got wedged into the wall, similar to how Stenhouse had earlier. Jones was running in 4th and appeared to get a little help from Reagan as they were entering turn 1. Lofton pitted from the lead under caution, which handed the top spot to Allgaier, who received a much-needed 5 bonus points for leading a lap. Back to green on lap 78, and it was Kimmel behind Allgaier, now eyeing his 9th title. Lofton was desperately attempting to claw his way back forward, but with how narrow Toledo is, he found himself stuck behind slower cars. The race was now seeing its second longest green flag run of just 7 laps, but all good things must come to an end as Brian Silas clipped Gabby DiCarlo in turn 3, sending her sideways, which in turn caused Luke Hall to slide in an attempt to miss her, but he ends up plowing into the 90 instead. This is ARCA though, and you know what's better than one wreck? 2 happening simultaneously. Matt Krzyzewski spun himself exiting turn number 4, which caused Patrick Sheltra and Ken Butler III to run into each other. Allgaier pitted on lap 86, handing the lead to Kimmel for the first time to award those valuable 5 bonus points to him. He would pit himself the following lap. Brandon Thompson was the leader at the lap 91 restart, followed by Michael Simcoe, but Simcoe's day would soon end after spinning off of 4 and collecting a gaggle of cars. Tom Hessert had nudged the 75 to send him spinning, and the GOAT himself, Brian Scott, couldn't avoid making heavy contact with Simcoe's car. Under caution, Allgaier's points lead over Kimmel was up to 65 points as both drivers found themselves farther back after their pit stops. Under yellow, Stenhouse would re-enter the race 67 laps down, though he wouldn't be able to win the championship at this point. After a lengthy cleanup, Hessert brought the field back to green on lap 106. Carter would take the lead a lap later, and Reagan would slide into the second position. Allgaier worked his way up to 4th and held a 4-position gap over Frank Kimmel. Reagan peeked under Carter to take the top spot on lap 121. Kimmel poked his nose under Allgaier a few laps later, looking to take 4th, but lap traffic held him up. He would need to beat Allgaier by 9 positions to win the title. The 16 slid past Carter for the 3rd spot on lap 136, and the 44 would quickly follow suit. Krzyzewski spun again, bringing out caution number 10, and this set up a final 50-lap dash to the end of the race. It was Kimmel that actually turned the 00, and as a result, he now had a tire rub. His tire was completely flat by the time he got to his pits, and now his championship aspirations were getting further and further out of reach. Speed was under commercial at the restart, and they returned with 51 to go as Reagan slipped out to a solid lead. With 50 laps to go, Allgaier's lead was a comfortable 50 points over Kimmel after his tire problems, and Scott Speed had worked his way back up to 2nd. The 44 was tearing through the field as quickly as he could, but he'd still need misfortune to strike the 16 in order to win. Up front, Lofton had gotten to Reagan's bumper with 38 to go. He'd get to his inside in a turn a few laps later, and they'd made contact on the backstretch. Reagan kept the lead, but a flat tire a lap later, unrelated to the contact, would force him to pit under green, ending his hopes of winning. Only a few laps later, Lofton would suffer the same fate and have to pit himself, and with just under 30 laps to go, the lead would fall right into Allgaier's lap. The chaos wasn't finished yet, as caution number 11 flew with 25 laps to go. No replay was provided, but Schrader mentions in his interview that it resulted from contact from both he and Bobby Gerhart. The cleanup was quick, and the restart came with 21 to go, and Allgaier in control of both the race and the championship. Kimmel had made it back to 3rd, but needed misfortune to strike the 16 in order to win the title. Carter made a move for the lead, and Allgaier smartly let him by, but he wasn't backing down by any means and passed him back with 11 to go. Carter then found himself behind Lofton, who was 2 laps down, and despite not battling for position, the 46 punted the 20 to bring out yet another yellow. This would set up a green-white checker to end the 2008 ARCA season, and Justin Allgaier had no competition and cruised to his 6th win of the season and the 2008 ARCA Remax Series Championship. To have entered the day more than 100 points out of the lead, Allgaier's title is one of the most interesting to be ever settled in a final race. Allgaier moved on to the Nationwide Series the next season and would score his first victory in 2010 at Bristol. He would jump up to the Sprint Cup Series in 2014 and 15, but in less than stellar equipment. In 2016, he would return to the now Xfinity Series with Junior Motorsports, where he has enjoyed consistent success and is a championship threat every season. Kimmel would continue his historic ARCA career, staying competitive every season and winning an unprecedented 10th title in 2013 before finally calling it a career after 2016. Stenhouse would leave ARCA behind for a part-time gig in Nationwide in 2009 for Roush Fenway. Despite some early struggles, he would mold himself into one of the series' best and eventually win 2 titles in 2011 and 2012. He's competed in the Cup Series full-time since 2013, and at the time of recording has 2 career victories, both coming in 2017. After being released from Roush Fenway Racing at the end of the 2019 season, he's found a new home at JTG Daugherty Racing, where he has already made a splash by winning the pole for the 2020 Daytona 500. Out of the 4 drivers in the championship battle that day, Speed seemed to have the biggest upside. He brought international appeal from his F1 background and had a vibrant personality that NASCAR hadn't seen before. He debuted in Cup a week later after the Toledo race for Red Bull Racing at Martinsville, but unfortunately his NASCAR career eventually fizzled out in just 6 short years, with his only success being a truck victory at Dover in the summer of 2008. The championship battle these men had represented the ARCA Racing Series at its absolute best. As the years went by, however, its deterioration became more and more apparent. Fewer and fewer competitive teams committed to running the full season as the years went by, and a decade after Allgaier's title, the future of the series looked grim. NASCAR bought ARCA in 2018 and integrated it with its East and West series starting in 2020. Despite this, as well as the effects of the coronavirus, the now ARCA Menard series looks in as rough a shape as ever. While the series may never return to its former glory, I do hope it can find its footing once again in the years to come. Regardless of what the future holds, 2008 represented the best ARCA had to offer, and I hope that wild afternoon in Toledo, Ohio will never be forgotten. And that'll do it for another video. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Tyler Head. You can follow me on Twitter at TylerHead18. You can also subscribe to my NASCAR podcast, Up to Speed, on Apple Podcast. I thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.